Hi there everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes, and tonight we are getting the reveal of the next set of special heroes, the next seasonals, that are going to drop into the game in just a few short days. Now we are going to get the New Year's banner, and we do have the silhouettes pulled up here, so generally speaking, on New Year's, we will get original characters from Fire Emblem Heroes as seasonals, in addition to one of the mainline titles as well. So on the right side there, that to me that definitely looks like Yarn. I feel like that it's a pretty natural fit there with that style of hair. On the left-hand side, I feel like that could be anyone. People have tossed around Elm's name, and I definitely could see that. Also, it fits the trend of us getting Fire Emblem Heroes characters as seasonals during New Year's, so again, it fits that as well. And if that is Elm, we would typically get other characters from the same book, so potentially Askr and Embla, maybe even a duo of Askr and Embla together. I personally would absolutely love to see Ashe as a seasonal character here. That would be great, I think. So we'll just see. I'll have the trailer pulled up and we'll watch it together raw for the first time and experience the surprise together. So let's get into it. Alright, let's get this show on the road. See what they got for celebrating the new year. Wishing you happiness in the year to come. Special heroes to battle. And who we got? Hey, it is gonna be Ashe. Earnest greetings. Oh, that's great. Very cute. She is going to be a blue beast infantry unit. Got Bulwark. Got her opening retainer. Her unique weapon. And her cow form with all of the bling and the nice outfit. Very cute. Very cute. Okay. And it looks like everyone is right. Resolute Grouch. It's kind of interesting because Elm, his ears are hidden, or at least you can't really see them here, so... Fang of Finality. That's a long description. Luna, Beast and Trace 3. Oh boy. More beast-specific skills. Who is this gonna be? Oh, it's Panne! Okay, welcoming Dawn. So, I mean, it would make a lot of sense that Yarn is gonna be maybe the freebie unit. Year of the Rabbit. That's true. So, Red Beast Cavalry. Keen Rabbit Fang. Clash 3, Lull 3, actually pretty good skills for what I would believe would be the 4-star focus unit of the banner. So, like a lot of great stepping stone skills that are there. And this is going to be Askr and Elm, I called it! Renewed Gods. I mean, it made a lot of sense. I guess the writing was on the wall, right? I guess it was kind of obvious. But yeah, that is going to in fact be Askr and Embla, the pair together. No. War and Fighting Be Damned, coming together, Duality Vessel, Defense Res Finish 4, Tempo 3 Opened Domain for the C-Slot skill. So, they're going to be pretty tanky, it seems. Embla being very tsundere. Alright, and then of course they have their duo skill. We'll be taking a closer look at their skills and everything else after the trailer. After a once through with the trailer, but I mean, pretty much in line with expectations, I think, overall. I'm pretty okay with Panne and Yarn being the mainline series representatives for New Year's. That's fine by me. And yeah, and certainly happy to see Askr and Ashe making an appearance here. Gods Renewed Paralogue Story. And I anticipate we will be seeing Yarn here. Yeah, so he's going to be a blue beast, it looks like, over there in the corner. So so that'll be nice. And presumably cavalry as well. So that's nice. And yeah, Panne is going to be the 4-star focus unit of the banner. Anything else of note in the trailer? No, just the fact that you can spark on the banner if you are a FEH subscriber, and extending essentially for an entire month. So the entire month of January, you are going to be able to summon for these units. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. So even color distribution across. Panne being the 4-star focus unit is going to be on red. The duo is going to be on colorless, and yeah. I think just out of the gate, I'm like most excited to see Ashe, just because I think I like Ashe a lot. But let's go ahead and rewind, take a closer look at the skills and everything to see ultimately if I think this is a banner and characters that are worth pulling for. So here is Ashe in a kimono as an infantry blue beast. And she looks quite lovely in this outfit, all dressed up. There's this really nice blue lining, as well as the actual wrap of the kimono also has blue accents to it, and then the actual collar as well all has it, and it fits her really well. It's very flattering. The long sleeves that stretch out and extend below her has a very interesting sort of rainbow fade at the end of it, so lots of different colors there, and the pattern actually on the side that has kind of the diamond pattern does match the pattern on her original outfit, so I do like the influence that they drew there. She has her long tail, a cute little flower in her hair, and it looks like she's holding, some sort of a talisman or scroll or something for the with a cow head on top, so very appropriate. And she has a very cute smile. She has this gentle, very polite poise to her, which I think does meld very well with Japanese etiquette and everything, so I think it's very fitting. I also like the little checkerboard pattern at the bottom of the kimono there as well. Overall, really nice. I do feel like it lacks a certain intricate detailing to it in terms of like her face and the cloth itself. I think there could be a little bit more to it in terms of shading and detailing. But overall, I think it is quite nice. So here we got Heralding Horn. It's 14 might, has a killer slaying effect. If foe initiates combat or if foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75% at the start of combat, grants attack +6 to unit and inflicts attack -6 on foe during combat, and also grants the following effects based on the number of allies within 3 spaces. Okay, so 3 spaces, which is a pretty generous threshold. If greater than or equal to 1 ally, if unit has weapon triangle advantage, or if foe initiates combat, unit attacks twice. Oh, so it actually gets a brave effect. And if greater than or equal to 2 allies, reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 40%. And if greater than or equal to 3 allies, foe cannot make a follow-up attack. And then at start of turn, if unit is adjacent to only beast or dragon allies, right, so the beast transformation condition, if she does transform, grants attack +2 and deals 7 damage when special triggers. Neutralizes effects that grant special cooldown charge +1 to foe, or inflict special cooldown charge -X on unit during combat. So not a run-of-the-mill transformation effect. She not only gets additional damage, but also additional true damage when her special procs. She also reduces or eliminates guard on herself, and then inflicts guard on the enemy in terms of special charge capability. So that is actually very useful as well, especially if you're going to be tanking hits and using your special to deal a lot of damage while you're just building charge by tanking those hits. So overall, it seems like she's going to be quite the tank. Not only is she going to be able to sustain the first hit, enjoy some damage reduction there, she's going to retaliate with a brave effect, which is quite nice. Once again, it's if you have weapon triangle advantage, or if the foe initiates combat. So it seems like as long as she's enemy phasing, she's going to get most of these effects, as long as she has 3 allies within 3 spaces, which is a very generous condition to meet. She's going to get all of the effects that are available here, and also at the start of the turn, if she's not adjacent to her allies, she's definitely going to be transforming into a beast. So again, all of these things work and synergize well together. It's going to provide her the ability to sustain and tank a lot of hits, retaliate, deal a lot of damage in the process, and potentially proc her special as well. And depending on the enemy HP condition, and weapon triangle advantage, she'll be able to enjoy some of these effects on player phase as well. But it seems like she's mostly designed as an enemy phase unit. Bonfire for the special, 3-turn cooldown. Naturally, with the killer slaying effect, it's going to be a 2-turn cooldown, which does mean that in a lot of instances when she's enemy phasing, she is going to be able to proc that bonfire. Distant reversal for the A slot, unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range, and gets defense +5 during combat if she is enemy phasing. So again, building into the defensive capability that she has, the tankiness, as well as the strength of that bonfire proc. Attack Defense Bulwark 3. Foes with range of 1 cannot move through spaces adjacent to unit, and foes with range 2 cannot move through spaces within 2 spaces of unit. Does not affect foes with pass skills, inflicts defense attack -4 on foe during combat, and restores 7 HP to unit after combat. So we've seen this before. It's very fitting for her, since her intent is to essentially be a wall out there, and it's going to help support her tankiness by allowing her to not only in combat debuff the enemy that's attacking into her, but restore health after combat. Opening Retainer, allies within 2 spaces can move to a space within 2 spaces of unit. Grants attack +4 to allies within 2 spaces during combat. And of course, she will also enjoy the attack +4 as well, as part of that joint effect. So that's the same as her legendary skill, her legendary version skill, and it's very, very good. It's so useful. The utility of being able to act as essentially a warping post in a lot of ways, and also just kind of passively get a +4 attack, is very, very strong. It also works very well with Heralding Horn, making sure that she can corral her allies around her so that she does get all of the multitude of effects that she has with Heralding Horn. So she's going to be very potent as a wall out there. That she's got a lot of stuff in there to maintain her sustain with the damage reduction, the healing, the eliminating the follow-up attack on the enemy, proccing her special and not being able to reduce her special charge with guard, preventing the enemy from gaining special charge, which would again helps her sustain as well. And she's going to have distant reversal. She's going to be the first source of distant reversal, where it's just an upgraded distant counter that gives you additional defense, which obviously is very fitting for her. So she's going to be doing very well. I do wonder what her res stat is going to be. It looks like she's kind of all in on the defense component of things, but I wouldn't be surprised if she has a fairly formidable resistance stat as well. So we'll just have to see how that pans out. And then taking a look here at her transformation once again. I love how her hair tufts kind of flutter as she transforms too. So she's obviously going to mitigate tons of damage and then attack in. Love the little wisps around her. Looks like she's falling forward. Very cute. So Elm is going to be a green beast flyer, and he's opted for some darker tones, which certainly fits his overall personality and origin story. So the blacks and the golds work really well together, and then you've got some muted tones of red and some flashy red as well built into the sleeve there for just a kind of a splash of panache and color. At first, it's a little weird just because I'm used to seeing Elm with the bat ears, and so he's kind of covered up his ears with an ornament there as part of the look, which is interesting. Also, I don't remember if he had the headband always, or if he's just wearing it for this particular outfit. I'm not entirely sure. But similar to Ashe, he also has a talisman or a scroll with the bat motif, of course, which naturally fits him a lot more. He's smaller in stature, as we know him to be. It's weird. It's almost weird seeing sort of a gentle smile on his face rather than a more conniving one. And I am curious to see how he's going to be incorporated into the story. So Fang of Finality for the weapon. Killer Slaying effect. If unit initiates combat or is not adjacent to an ally, grants attack speed +6 to unit. Neutralize effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks and deals damage equal to X% of unit speed. X equals number of foes within 3 spaces of target, including target, times 10 during combat, excluding AoE specials, max 30%. If unit is not adjacent to an ally, reduces damage from foes, from attacks during combat and from AoE specials by percentage equal to the number of foes within 3 spaces of target, including target, times 20, max 60%. At start of turn, if unit is adjacent to only beast or dragon allies, so the beast transformation effect, if he does transform, he moves 1 extra space and gets attack +2. I actually can't remember what Elm in the story, what his weapon effect is off the top of my head. I think it is reminiscent of this, if not borrowing direct things from this, so I forgive me if I just don't recall exactly what his weapon does in the actual story, in the story maps that we encounter him. But I think it's similar to this, at least. So he's got the Killer Slaying effect, and essentially he's kind of like the foil to Ashe. So whereas Ashe really kind of excels where she has allies within 3 spaces, and his enemy phasing, Elm is really designed to player phase, and not only player phase, but also get more boosts based upon the enemy and how many enemies are within proximity of that enemy. So the more foes that are within 2 or 3 spaces of the target that he's attacking, the more buffs he gets. And just an opposite, essentially, of what Ashe's effects are. But overall, I mean, he gets attack boost, like offensive boosts, nullifying effects that would prevent him from follow-up attacking. He is going to be naturally speedy, so in a lot of instances, he's going to naturally double, and so that being able to preventing him from doubling is going to be quite nice. And he also deals additional true damage based upon his speed with a percentage modifier based upon the number of foes around his target. So it's that number times 10. So like, let's say that you had 1 target and 5 allies around that target within range, you would get 50%. It would be 50% of his speed, and his speed is going to be considerable based upon what we see here so far. So that's nothing to scoff at. That true damage is going to happen irrespective of what the defensive stats are going to be, and so it's going to be based off of his speed, and that can really make a huge difference. So what that means is that when he's first engaging on a group, that's where he's going to take most advantage of that raw damage. Additionally, he's going to get some damage reduction built in too, which is certainly going to be nice for him to be able to tank when he's going on the offensive there. And he, obviously does particularly well when he's not around one of his allies. Now, Luna for the special, Beast and Trace 3 for the B slot. Enables Kanto remainder +1, removes the condition to transform. So now we have an inheritable skill that allows beasts to transform irrespective of team composition and positioning. So that is quite nice. That's quite nice for him, especially since he gets an extra movement tile when he does transform. He also gets +2 attack, which is fine. But those are 2 really strong things on the B slot. Getting Kanto and getting just being able to transform no matter what. And I am curious what the condition is going to be for that. If it is going to be limited to cavalry and flyers, I would guess for Beast and Trace 3, maybe not. I mean, it might not be, since it already is like limited to beasts anyway. But we'll have to see how that pans out. And then Colorless Feud 3. If in combat against a colorless foe, disable skills of all foes, excluding foe in combat, inflicts -4 on all stats on foe. During combat, disables skills of all colorless foes, excluding foe in combat. So these feud skills, I actually like them. I think they're pretty nice. They're tailored to specific counters, which I think is a-okay, especially if you're building a particular team composition to try to counter specific threats that you might encounter. Makes a lot of sense to have these feud skills in your arsenal. It is limiting, obviously, not the most versatile of skills out there, and that is swappable for any number of C-slot skills that you may want to use, and considering that he is a flyer, you may want to opt to go for a range skill instead. That would certainly fit very well for him to increase his offensive capability, since that's really effectively what he's going to be geared towards doing, is transforming, zooming in with extra movement tile, and all sorts of potential movement shenanigans built in with his teammates, and then get a whole boatload of damage out there, a lot of raw damage, a lot of true damage from his speed stat, and then also just being able to double, sustain, get damage reduction when the enemy counterattacks, and then attack again, and follow up because the enemy can't prevent him from naturally doubling, and then proccing the Luna in the process, which is going to do a ton of damage, and then he's going to be able to Kanto away. So yeah, I mean, that's effectively what he's geared towards doing, and he's going to do it very well. Next up is Panne, who is going to be a red cavalry beast unit. Looks very, very cute in her outfit, all very cuddly and warm, with the fur trim around the collar, and then the additional kind of shawl that she has wrapped around her shoulders too. The colors are very fitting. They work very well. The pastels, the lavenders and the purples and the blues, I think match her very well. She has her traditional hair that's wrapped around her ears, which is quite cute, but they're adorned by these little flower arrangements. And that also matches some flowers in her hair, as well as around the wrap around her midriff as well. And it looks like she does have a little treat that she's holding, a little Kagami mochi. That looks like there's a mochi with an orange on top, which is a traditional New Year's treat. It does look like it has little decorations on it that resembles a bunny, so the little leaves there look like bunny ears, and then the 2 dots look like the eyes. That is very, very adorable. So Panne is going to come with Keen Rab Killer Slaying Effect, effective against cavalry foes. If unit initiates combat or is not adjacent to an ally, grants attack speed +6 to unit, neutralize effects that prevent units follow-up attacks, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 80%, and also if unit speed is greater than foe speed, grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack during combat. That's actually a lot of really good things. At start of turn, if unit is adjacent, the transformation effect. If transformed, attack +2, and if player phasing gets attack defense -4 on foe during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. It's actually a really strong weapon for a 4-star focus unit. I know it's borrowed elements from her original version in the game, but I think amplified and with additional effects. But altogether, it's got a lot of really great stuff built into this, this player phasing unit. Luna for the special, attack speed clash 3 for the A slot, and lull speed defense 3 for the B slot. Lull speed defense 3 is actually quite solid for a B slot skill. Doesn't have the extravagance of Kanto, which she could also be running. In fact, she could certainly run Elm's Beast Transformation, Trickery, whatever it is, to transform and also gain a Kanto. But her just being able to enjoy additional damage as well as a bigger speed differential to ensure that she doubles, and also gains the ability to get that additional special charge built into her weapon are both solid things. Clash skill is quite nice for the A slot. It's going to be boosting the 2 stats that she is interested in amplifying, being a player phase type unit, and with a base level or a floor boost of 5 to attack and speed. So overall, actually really, really solid for a 4-star focus unit. All things considered, I think she brings a lot to the table. She's going to be quite formidable. She has a lot of great effects built into her weapon, which is unique to her. And then she comes with some decent skills too. Maybe not optimal, but ones that she can absolutely run with at the start. And then kind of leapfrog into other skills as you continue to use her. And since she's going to be easier to get, easier merge project, so yeah, a lot of good things about Panne here. And here is going to be the duo of Askr and Embla. They are going to be an infantry colorless tome, which is not what I would expect from this pair. Since they are traditionally beast units, this is a beast-focused banner, and they are going to be a tome unit. So that's quite interesting. They look fantastic. I think they look really great. The art for them is quite nice. I think visually the contrast between them works very, very well. Askr looks like a beast. He's very, very handsome, very dapper, very open, and he has even his hand open there, just welcoming with open arms, very gracious. And in his one arm, he actually has that little Fey ornament, the Fey New Year's ornament. So. And Embla, in contrast, looks a little more closed off, a little more reserved. She even has an umbrella in her arm, which sort of lends itself to seclusion a little bit. Darker colors in tone with the red and the black. Even the fur lining has this sort of calico of different gold and reds within. And then you have the gold triangle pattern at the bottom as well is quite nice. But yeah, the dichotomy between the two has always been an interesting element to their story, and then visually that's there as well, very present. Embla being very fair in nature, and then Askr having that healthy bronze glow to him. He has this really clean and sleek hair, and then Embla has these ornate tresses of curls that just kind of flow off of her shoulders. Really, really nice. Duality Vessel is going to be a colorless tome, right? 14 might, killer slaying effect. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants +5 to all stats during combat. Unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack. Reduces damage from foes' attacks during combat by 20% of unit's defense. And also, if unit's defense is greater than foe's defense, reduces damage from area of effect specials by difference between stats times 1.5. Huh, interesting. So they don't have a percentage damage reduction, they actually have a fixed amount of damage reduction based upon a percent of their defense. So what that effectively means is that if they have anywhere from like 50 to 60 defense, operationally, then they're going to get 20% of that, so anywhere from 10 to 15 actual damage gets lopped off from what they would be taking, which is pretty nice. And then the other element to it is specifically targeting AoE specials. I think that's interesting that there's a specific carve out for AoE specials in this. But regardless, that's also going to be a fixed number damage reduction. It's not going to be a percentage. It's going to be the differential of the unit's defense and the foe's defense times 1.5. So, 50% more of that, and that number is what you're going to get reduced from AoE specials. That's interesting. Okay. Bonfire for the special. Defense res finish 4 for the A slot. If unit is within 3 space of an ally, grants defense res +7 to unit during combat. Also, if unit special is ready or unit special triggered before or during this combat, deals +5 damage during combat, except when dealing damage with AoE specials. And when unit deals damage to foe during combat, restores 7 HP to unit. So a lot of great things built into this for a tanky unit that will rely on special proccing for some significant damage. And then as long as they have their special at the ready before combat or it procs during combat, which should be pretty easy. I mean, Bonfire 3-turn special with a Killer Slaying effect, it's going to be a 2-turn cooldown. And then they're going to be tanking a hit and then retaliating and potentially follow-up attacking. They have a guaranteed follow-up attack built into their weapon. So they should be proccing the Bonfire even from a no additional cooldown charge. So they'll get +5 true damage, which is quite nice, and then restore 7 HP, which further enhance their sustain, right? Attack res tempo 3 for the B slot. Inflicts attack res -3 on foe, and neutralizes effects that grant special cooldown charge +X to foe, or inflict special cooldown charge -X on unit during combat. So that's going to be very important for them, in particular for the defense res finish. These two work very, very well in tandem and synergize because the tempo skill is going to make sure that there aren't guard effects on Askr and Embla here, and then the finish 4 is going to rely on the special being available in order to get the additional effect. So those work very well. And then Open Domain for the C-slot skill. At start of turn, if unit is within 2 space of any allies from a different title than the unit, grants Resonance Blades and Resonance Shields to unit and all allies within 2 spaces of unit. And also, if unit or any of those allies has their special cooldown count at its maximum value, grants special cooldown count -1 to them. So I actually forgot about this. Askr's native ability is going to grant themselves an actual special cooldown charge. So that's going to further reinforce the ability for them to have Bonfire either at the ready or being able to charge instantly when being attacked. And have that defense res finish 4 effect enabled. Resonance Blades and Resonance Shields together stack with other activated buffs, so that's going to be very, very useful for them to not only fortify themselves, but also do additional damage within allies. And the condition is very, very easy. You just need one ally from a different title within 2 spaces, and that's just very, very easy to meet. So they're cooking. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff going for them here. As a defensive wall, they're going to be it's effectively a colorless tome tank without close counter. So interestingly enough, they're not going to be geared towards actually countering units within close range. They are effectively going to be a ranged enemy phaser and designed that way. So we're going to take a look at the duo skill here. So grants +6 to all stats to unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. Grants special cooldown count -1 to unit and those allies. All right, well, so I mean that answers it, I guess. If their C-slot skill grants a special charge to them when they have a 2-turn cooldown with Bonfire, that means it's going to be at a 1-turn cooldown. All they have to do is activate their duo skill, and that's going to be an insta-charge Bonfire essentially for them. The +6 activation to all stats works very well, since, like I said before, it actually stacks with Resonance Blades and Resonance Shields. And at the start of every 3rd turn, if duo skill has already been used, unit can use the duo skill again. So they are going to be able, in the hands of a player, they're going to be able to, utilize this in a variety of ways multiple times on a map as necessary to make sure they get all of the effects from the rest of their kit active. So this is actually a pretty darn nice duo skill for them. There's not a lot of frills here at first glance. +6 to all stats just as an activated buff, not really that remarkable, but you have to remember all of the allies are also getting Resonance Blades and Resonance Shields from the native C slot skill. And then the ability to grant special cooldown charge -1 at the touch of a button is a really powerful thing natively. So I think despite it not being overflowing with different effects, it actually works very well with what they set out to do. But yeah, I like the selection of characters. I think the art is pretty nice on the banner as a whole. The character selection is pretty nice as well. Askr and Embla, I think, was a natural pick, and I think their art is great. I think they're going to be pretty much the prize of the banner, generally speaking, as the duo unit. They've just got such synergy with their kit as a whole, and the utility they're going to bring to a team is really great with all of the stackable buffs that they bring, as well as kind of the one-touch insta-charge to their allies' specials. It's some really, really great utility. And then, you've got Embla and you've got Ashe. Me personally, out of the characters themselves, like, Ashe is my favorite, I would say. But in terms of utility and value and strength, I would say that Embla and Ashe are kind of two sides of a coin, right? I think that Ashe is intended to be a wall, and then you've got Embla, who is intended to essentially be a homing missile to break through defenses. So they kind of work against each other in that way. And Panne is just overall just really solid. So I think that there's just a lot of value here. And then if you fancy these characters, I mean, you can't really go wrong with going for any of them in particular. If you're a big fan of beasts in general, Elm might be a little bit more of a target for you, so you can get that beast slot skill. I can imagine that being pretty coveted for beasts out there, so since he is currently the only source of it, I could imagine people going in for Elm just to get that access to that skill. But yeah, overall, I think it's pretty balanced in terms of strength. Now, for me personally, if I were to go in on this banner, it would be for Ashe. Just 'cause I really like Ashe as a character. But beyond that, I don't really know. I'm not entirely sure if I am actually going to go in on this banner. I mean, I think there is value here. I do like how they look. I think the art is pretty good, like I said. But I don't know. I'm waffling a little bit here, a little indecisive. So I'm not entirely sure yet. But let me know in the comments below if you're excited for the units, if you called the units on the banner, who you're actually going to be summoning for if you do summon in on the banner. And yeah, best of luck to you if you do end up going in. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching, for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.